11 p.m. on January the 31st, 2020, and the moment Britain officially left the EU with a bang. Since then, the mood has been rather less celebratory, with economic challenges magnified by the pandemic and the war in Ukraine. The borough of Thurrock had one of the strongest Brexit votes in the country at 72% in favour. Despite the difficulties, many remain optimistic that Brexit will deliver.
I figure it's going to take 10 years and a new government to hopefully put it back, as we were.
So do you think it was a good choice?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
I think we'll get there eventually, but because we've had this virus for the last 3 years, hasn't helped matters. Once we got over that, I'm sure we'll start getting all the benefits.
Off camera, there are those who say they now regret their vote to leave the EU. According to a recent YouGov poll, 1 in 5 Leave voters now feels the same way. Overall, around 2/3 of Britons say Brexit has been badly handled. In the neighbouring county of Kent, the transition hasn't been easy for this business, which used to export fruit and vegetable crisps to 6 EU countries. Faced with higher tariffs and complex red tape, they lost clients across the continent. Meanwhile, importing fresh produce from Spain or Italy now risks the loss of tons of perishable fruit and veg to customs delays or a paperwork error.
3 years later, no, the problems haven't been solved as such. We've just resigned ourselves at the moment. Exporting to the EU isn't a focus. We've moved our focus to exporting outside of the EU.
On the other side of the Thames estuary, Emily Vermont didn't expect Brexit to be a factor when she opened this climbing centre in 2021. But most of the specialist equipment is made in the EU, and some companies are now reluctant to deal with UK customs.
So we first saw how Brexit could make things complicated for us when we tried to order our climbing holds. So all of the holds that you can see around us, the majority of those brands are based in Europe. And because of Brexit, there's a huge backlog now. So we would put in an order for climbing holds and it'll be 3 to 6 months before we see our climbing holds.
Trade between Britain and Europe is clinging on, but Brexit has caused a 20% reduction, according to one study. And while COVID and the war in Ukraine have caused significant short-term disruption, Brexit's effects will be lasting.
Leaving the EU has definitely acted as a drag on the UK economy. The uncertainty it's created has led to lower business investment. The new trade barriers has made it harder for UK firms to trade with the EU. And overall, it's resulted in the UK economy growing more slowly than it otherwise would have. So overall, the UK is poorer now because of Brexit.
56% of Britons now say leaving was the wrong decision, but rejoining is not on the political agenda. Both the government and the opposition Labour Party want to move on from the Brexit debate and look to the future rather than the past.